Don't mind, guys. Can we have our presentation, please? Okay, so while presentation is being uploaded, I hope everyone can hear me and see me. Welcome everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us on this Sunday. Let me switch this off. Yeah, I think this is better. So welcome and thank you for joining us on this Sunday, just before the new school year kicks up tomorrow. We are thrilled to have you here today. Before we dive into the main content, let me take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Laura Sapa, and I'm a founder of Edulead Solutions, a company dedicated to helping students gain admission to the universities of their dreams. Our global team was brought together by a shared mission, which is to help individuals achieve their aspirations and become the best versions of themselves. Edulead Solutions is proud to be part of the Founders Institute community based in Silicon Valley, a hub where great minds meet to innovate and inspire. In addition to leading Edulead, I'm also deeply connected to the academic world. I'm currently pursuing my doctorate in education at the University of Warwick. The purpose of our webinar today is to walk you through the application and acceptance process for Harvard University, shared by a student who is currently studying there. While the focus will be on steps that the speaker took to receive her acceptance letter, this session is much more than just the application process. It's an evidence showing how setting a clear goal and following a strategic step-by-step approach can turn even the most ambitious dreams into reality. Our aim today is not only to share specific success story, but also to inspire you with the idea that with the right strategy, any dream, no matter how high, is attainable. So with this warm welcome, it is my pleasure to open today's webinar. Before we introduce speaker, one more time, just one more note, let's go over some technical details I'm receiving from my team. We have a wonderful technical team on hand today to ensure everything runs smoothly. If you encounter any issues or have questions during the webinar, feel free to write them in the chat. Either myself or one of our team members will be happy to assist you. Questions for our speaker will be addressed at the end of the presentation during our Q&A session. Please take note that this session will be recorded. If you would like to receive a link to the recording afterward, let us know and we will make sure to provide it. So now I'm honored to introduce today's speaker, Anastasia, a remarkably ambitious young woman from a small town in Georgia. Her story is one of incredible determination and commitment. The more I come to know her, the more I'm becoming inspired by her story and especially her persistent dedication to her dreams. Please join me in welcoming Anastasia, who will now share her journey with us. Anastasia, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hope everyone can hear me. Thank you for invitation, first of all. I usually very much appreciate the opportunities to talk to people who are at the point in their lives where I was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And it's a very important point in life, I would say. It's a very important moment which basically decides your future in one way or another. And the most exciting part of it is that you have not the full control of it, but very much so. Most of the things are depending on you in this process. And several years after, you could be very proud of the choices you made and the efforts you put into something. So I usually love to talk about these topics and college applications in general. So thank you again for invitation. Hopefully, this webinar today will be productive. I will be sharing my journey, but not only my journey, just in general, how the college application goes, because it can be very, very confusing at sometimes, and it's a vast sphere, I would say. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to get into the details. So this will not be enough, but it will be just a glimpse to all these things, but I'll try my best to give you the most information I can give you in 45 minutes or so. To say a little bit more about myself, well, it will be my third year at Harvard this year. I studied government and economics. I'm from Georgia originally, from Kutaisi. And yeah, it how to say the reason why I'm emphasizing my town is that it's usually not very popular for us to study in the US. So it was a wild jungle when I when I started entering it, and that's why I hope giving you these details will be somehow helpful to you, because I know how hard it can be when you don't know anything about the process. Another point I want to emphasize is that even though it might seem very unimaginable that this will work out, I mean, getting into top university, if that is your dream, and if you are here today, that means that is your dream. Even though this might seem very unimaginable, so unimaginable that you can't even be talking about it out loud sometimes, it is not impossible at all. Even though it takes so much work, it's possible. And well, thank God I have evidence for it. So yeah. Okay, let's start with the basics of how the college application usually works. So yeah, when we're talking about college application, we're talking about an um, online portal basically. All you do is you fill out some application on an online portal. You don't send any, like, I mean, physical documents anywhere. You just fill out one application, which includes all the information about you, all the like, I don't know, everything about your personal background, academic background, anything you did outside school, all these things, and we will go step by step through it. But yeah, you fill out this one general application, and then you send this application to various universities, and all those various universities also give you, sometimes, not always, but sometimes give you additional questions or additional things to write, depending on what they want from you. But it's very convenient that most of the work you do is on this general application that goes to every university, basically. So this application is a common application, or Common App in short. That's the most common one, more most famous one, I would say, and useful. But there are other things. For example, coalition application. You could also try that, but that's usually for people, as I've heard, that need more financial aid. It's usually what Americans fill out, as far as I know. But I personally did Common App, so I know the most about it, and I will be talking about Common App today. And well, some universities like MIT, for example, have their own application portals. I guess, I don't know, maybe they don't trust Common App or something. I don't know, but they have their own application portals. But that's very rare usually. So yeah, what do we do in Common Application? What it says about you is it consists of three main parts. Usually, it's academics, it's extracurriculars, so what you do outside the school, and it's the essays, which is, I think, the most problematic part, at least the one that tortured me the most, but it's doable again. Okay, so let's start with academics. So when we say academics, we're talking about several points. So first of all, your school education is very, very important. So what classes you took at school? What grades did you get in these classes? They're looking at everything, basically all the transcripts you ever have in every school you wear. That one. Also, well, yeah, teacher recommendations. It's also very important because they not only look at your GPA, so your scores, but also how teachers think of you, to get like more, how to say, more comprehensive overview of what kind of student you will be. Basically, it is a very useful description for universities, how you are with teachers and how you handle these relationships. So yeah, that also, and test scores, which are very, very important. Well, even though that was after COVID, actually, or during COVID, when the tests were, when the centers were closed and everything, a lot of universities started making this test scores optional. But yeah, even though it was optional when I was applying, I still took it, and I would very, very, very strongly recommend taking tests usually, because I've heard very rarely that people got into top universities without some kind of test scores, or at least if you don't have tests, you should have some other means of showing your strong academic background, which is usually hard to do. So unless you have a better option, you usually go with tests, and that's why I chose tests too. It's like, so basically, especially like for international students, when you're coming from a background, like educational background, that US universities are not very familiar with. For example, like Georgian schools, like American universities probably know nothing about how Georgian schools work, and they usually sometimes don't trust the GPA you have or trust the scores you have at school, because they just don't know what kind of standards they have in your school, right? So that's why they ask for test scores, and they ask for these international ways to measure how what kind of student you are, basically, because this like criteria that they have created, I mean, the exams that they offer you is a very reliable way for them to evaluate how strong you are academically. So that's why, especially to international students, I very strongly recommend test scores, and have as many as you can do well. It's obviously it's quality over the number all the time, but if you think that you can ace many tests, then take many tests. It's usually very useful. Like for example, I took SAT. Well, TOEFL is a requirement, obviously, for international students. I took SAT, and I also took SAT subject tests. They are not offered anymore. They were when I was applying, but I was actually the last generation, basically, who wrote it, because they're canceled. But there are other exams you could take, for example, AP exams. And the reason I took SAT subject tests, even though I didn't really have like, I wouldn't say I had free time to prepare or them or something, or I had many teachers to choose from who would help me prepare for these exams. I'm saying like it wasn't easy at all. But the reason I really wanted to do it was that the more you offer the university, the more you show them, and the more ways you demonstrate to them that you are actually very strong academically, well, obviously your chances of getting accepted at some point really, really go high. So yeah, that's why, even though like it was the last time this test would be offered, I still took three subjects out of it, even though also three wasn't optional, and I had to take it on one day because it wouldn't be offered anymore. And yeah, it was definitely optional, but I would say I think it was very, very useful for the application. So I would really encourage you to take all the tests you can. And well, obviously the high test score really matters in applications, because you might be outstanding in outside school, in extracurriculars and everything. You might be an amazing person, but at the end of the day, when you're sending this application to universities, and the most important thing they are interested in is how will you perform academically when you get there. And I assure you, it's very hard to perform well academically when you get to top universities. Like this was like the first time in my life where I actually had to struggle to get good grades, and like struggle to perform well. Like I never had that issue before. But yeah, it is actually very hard. So unless you are prepared well, you will get crushed, basically. I'm saying this very badly, but yeah. So they know this, and that's why they're asking you to take all these tests and everything. Because like I also think that not only like sending the scores, but also preparing for these exams gives you so much academically. It like makes your English better. It makes your just test taking skills better. So the preparing for the test is the journey that is most important, basically, for the college. I think. And if I didn't take SAT, I would be very, very unprepared for my first year. I'm very sure. So again, yeah, too many arguments for why you should take tests. Then other parts of academics. Oh, they also ask you like if you have, for example, any outstanding academic performances. For example, if you won some Olympiad, that's like amazing. If it's a national Olympiad, for example, it's usually very, very impressive. If it's international Olympiad, that's amazing. They usually like it can get you a ticket to elite colleges usually, and I know many people like I have many friends to MIT actually who like probably just got in there because they had won international Olympiads. So put everything you can in academics basically and try to excel as much as possible. Then we have extracurriculars. So this is just a fancy word of like whatever you're doing outside school. So this could be like, for example, if you play piano or if you play any instrument, like when did you learn it? What did you do with it? If you won any contests, maybe you play sports. It's usually what U.S. universities are very, very interested in sports because like people are very good at sports and then they get into universities and then they play in university teams. So because the universities compete with each other and have this interest for you to be like strong in some athletic way, they usually pay a lot of attention to that. So if you can, be amazing and yeah, show it. So yeah, basically anything you do outside school, and we can go over some strong activities actually, and I'll show you like for example what I had in my application and why I think they were very important for the success of the application. Because like well, we talked a lot about academics, and we're saying that obviously academics are important, but also what elite colleges are looking at is that you should be able to use that knowledge to do something useful in the world, and that's how like their main interest is to raise you as some very, very like I don't know, amazing professional basically who will be able to like do something important in the world. And then it's the university's fame, obviously, right? That's why they choose you, because they think that you have some potential to then become amazing, and the university will be proud of you at the end of the day. So also showing how you can perform outside the academics is very important. Like for example, one thing I had here that I'm very proud of is if you look at the first activity, it says founder, leader of initiative group, Youth for Society. So this was basically a little group we founded with my friends, and what it did was that it found beneficiaries, like it found people who needed help, either financial or maybe some other kind of help. For example, like poor families with a lot of kids, children, I mean. Also like we had several kids who had cancer and didn't have enough money for some like medical treatment they wanted to get. So like we found people like this who were in need, and then we spread information about them. For example, we would take some little videos of them, or like we would go around in the town to some like big companies or whatever and negotiate with them, ask them, okay, like this kid needs help, and if you invest in this, for example, you will get blah 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 something. So all these things, basically we were intermediaries between beneficiaries and the people who wanted to help other people. And this was not only with big companies, it was with just normal citizens who wanted to do some charity. So why this is very important is because like when I was talking about myself in the college application, I was saying that it's very important for me that like I have some positive impact on society, and that's why I want to learn politics, and that's why I want to learn economics, to somehow then work in my homeland, which is a developing country for now, and change something for the better. And so when you're talking about all these things and saying, okay, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that, what is the evidence for it? What shows the university that you will actually be able to do these things? Well, that are some activities that basically show that you had some chances and you used those chances, or you created some chances. For example, creating this group, right? It was this very, very small scale thing. It didn't like I like obviously it wasn't a big thing, right? But just taking initiative to create something that would work with beneficiaries and that would work with people who wanted to donate and somehow make good things happen. Like for example, some families had food on New Year's or on Christmas. Like that wouldn't happen if we didn't do some things right. So this shows a lot of things to the college that, well, this person can take initiative, this person can lead a group, this person can come up with like new ideas of how to have positive impact on society. So that's an amazing activity. But obviously, this was like before I was trying to get into how to say, like this activity wasn't started because of college application, obviously. Like I really want to emphasize this because I've seen a lot of kids who just start doing doing things because they want to write it in the college application. And well, I don't know if it is working for some people, but usually if you're not very passionate about something and if you wouldn't do it otherwise, I don't think it's a good activity for college application, because it's usually very, very easy to tell that you're doing something not naturally and not for yourself and for your like actual dreams and everything, but you're just doing it to like lie to some admissions officer that, oh, like actually I'm cool and please accept me in your university. Like these people, the people who are checking applications, they see like what, like 60,000 applications every year. So like they're very good at knowing who is genuine and who is not. And usually not genuine people do not uh well get as good of a feedback as the genuine ones. So I would say to have good extracurriculars, just actually like think what is important to you and what is like what would you want to spend your time on, what do you enjoy, and do those things and do those things very well. And the better you do them, obviously the better it looks on the application too. So you kill two rabbits with one shot basically. So amazing. So yeah, these are extracurriculars. Then oh, actually I think we had some other extracurricular examples, right, in our presentation. But okay, before we get, oh yeah, right here. So yeah, for example, what could be another good activity here? Computer science and technology. Founder of a programming focused online channel, teaching computer science concepts, focusing on algorithms, blah, 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 blah. Only channel providing this content in Portuguese. So why is this amazing? Some guy came up with I don't know, an idea that, okay, I want to teach coding to other people. It's a very good cause. Then this guy had enough skills to actually found something and actually create something new that would make this possible. And third most important and amazing thing is that it's the only thing that provides this content in Portuguese. So it actually gave some people opportunities, the opportunities that didn't exist before. So like he's having an amazing impact on society. It's like amazing, isn't it? So like these kind of activities usually work the most, like something that has actual meaning and something that has actual impact, right? Yeah. Okay. What else do we do? Yeah. So honors also, they ask you for honors. So like any contest you've won, or yeah, we only already talked about Olympiads and everything. But yeah, so basically uh taking like participating in competitions is very important, because that's how you get these honors, right? And the more you participate in, the more are your chances of being very successful at something, taking first place in something, or like gold medal or whatever. And the more bigger scale, and the bigger scale it is, the better, obviously. Like if it's national or if it's international, it's the best. So yeah, basically, yeah, again, do the best you can in every single sphere, because everything is so important. Like when we're talking about academics, we're saying, oh, it's very important. Then extracurriculars, oh, it's very important too. But that's the point. Like I wouldn't be able to say that any part is more important than the other in college application. Like you should try to excel in every single sphere to like get into elite colleges, right? Okay. Yeah. So when we're talking about extracurriculars, like why are they so important? And why are they in the application at all? So we said that it's like a good way of demonstrating how a person can use knowledge. Yes. But also, it's a very good demonstration of your character, like what you're able to do in future. And when we have all these like famous people who graduated from famous universities, like Barack Obama from Harvard, or like what Jeff Bezos from Princeton. Like, it's not that. So the way these people became so successful is not only because they started at Harvard or because they started at Princeton. That's like obviously a big part of it, but how university chooses you is exactly this. Like, university thought that, oh, this Barack Obama guy is actually, he might be successful because he has this skills, this skills, this skills, and okay, we think he will be amazing, so let's get him, let's give him more opportunities and more education, and then he will be our alumni, and he will be this very famous guy, and he will be a good, I don't know, name for our university. So like, that's how it happens usually. So the universities give you amazing opportunities. Like, I wouldn't imagine, it really exceeded my expectations. Universities give you amazing chances, but if you're not able to use those chances, well, that's a waste of opportunity, isn't it? For university, at least, that's the waste of money. That's how they look at it, because it's business at the end of the day, obviously. So yeah, that's how why like college application should demonstrate the most you can, like all your potential, to persuade them that yeah, I'll be the next famous guy and you will be proud of me at some point. So yeah, that's why we wanted to talk about alumni a bit. That's the important point. So yeah, okay. Essays, God, yeah. The torturous part of the application. Or maybe it won't be torturous for you, at least it was for me. I don't like writing. Yeah, so essays. Why do we need essays? Also very, very, very important part of the college application, because you said all these like details about yourself. Oh, I want this and I did this and that, but like the person reading it can't really put a face on you somehow. Like the like application or whatever, sorry, the college admissions officer is looking at this paper and is looking at some like performance, but it's not looking at a human. But when the person is reading an essay, then this application becomes a human, and like you can imagine when you're in a college officer, okay, now I see what kind of human this is, why this human did all of those things, like why this human had good academic performance and like good like extracurriculars and all these things. So it basically, like, I don't know, ties all this like application together. So essays are very important, and it shows your character. Yeah. So what is the essay? The essay is like, for Common App at least, it's 650 words. So it's very short. And that's why it's a tremendously hard task, because in 650 words, you somehow have to explain your personality, or at least like big part of your personality. Like, what values do you have? What is important to you? Why did you do all the things you did? And what are you planning to do in the future, and why, and all these things. And it can shape all the, like, it can take all the shapes and forms. So you're very free in this regard, and that's amazing, but that's also what makes everything harder, because you can't really choose what to do. But yeah, well, people will help you to choose what to write. Yeah. So it's very hard for essay to be a great college essay, but usually a great college essay can get you into elite university. And I don't know, at least this is my formula, but this is not the only way of doing it. But how I did it was that like, usually, like, the more original and unique it is, the better. But I didn't really have faith in me that I would be very original and very creative, because I'm usually not. So I, like, mine wasn't something very, very special and something the college officer would never have read before. It wasn't like that at all. But what I did was just like, I basically talked about like the important things I thought, like the things I did that I thought was important, and why I did those. And like, because I had like all the activities that were usually like usually directed towards like some civic activism, for example, like usually that was my sphere. I explained why that was the case, like what made me decide that that's the important thing I want to do. And well, my most important argument was that I think when a person has a positive impact on other humans around them, that's when how to say, the life becomes very meaningful. That's, I don't know, that's my way of thinking it. You don't have to agree, and usually not many people agree. But so yeah, that was my motto in and is my motto in life, I would say. So that's what I shared, and I think it explained a lot of things I did. So yeah, you should write something like that maybe does the same for you. Like it might not take some standard shape, it might be very unique, but like whatever is meaningful to you and what are you fighting for in life, basically. That's what essays do. Yeah. We could actually take a look at one essay and think about why is it good, and yeah, that would help us understand what makes a good essay. Oh, slides are gone, I think. If Mariam, you could help me. We could read the essay. Or we could do that later. Yeah, Mariam will take care of it, I think. Um, I think we have some questions that are not responded. Okay, so we'll talk about the essay later when we have the slides on again. But yeah, so again, some more characteristics of the essay is that it usually, like, to demonstrate, for something to demonstrate your character very well, it should be very genuine. It should be emotional to some extent. If you want, it could be very emotional. It should, like, basically be a window or a mirror of your soul, kind of. Like, it sounds very fancy this way, but like that's how it is usually. So yeah, maybe you should think of some topic, some like scene from your childhood, or like some an important scene in your life that that you think would share what shaped you and how it shaped you. Okay, let's read this essay. Let's take 5 minutes for it, and please be active because, oh, I didn't say this. We didn't say this. We have some prize for a person who will be most involved in the webinar, who will ask the most questions and share the most opinions. So there is some prize. Should I leave it as a surprise or should I share it, Laura? What do you think?
I didn't know about surprise myself.
Okay, okay, I'll say it. So the prize is basically a very useful guide towards college applications, which is created by Edulead. And yeah, it is basically a free opportunity for you to learn more about how you should be doing things if you want to get into elite colleges. So it's a very useful thing and usually very expensive, but now it's free, so be active. And yeah, maybe you're gonna get it. Okay, sorry, just read the essay for now.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing your resources for free. Okay, now we see your essay.
Yeah, this is not my essay though. But it's an essay that got into Harvard, but it's not my essay. It's just an example to look at so that we can discuss it.
Okay, so we'll be waiting, giving some time for the
Mm-hmm.
I'm not receiving anything except questions, but I think it's better to answer all the questions during our Q&A session.
Yeah, I was also reading the questions down. But yeah, guys, just note the questions. We will answer to all of them during the Q&A, and well, asking the questions is another way of being active during the webinar and getting the prize. So
I'm reading this essay at the same time, you know.
mhm. Yeah.
Particularly the sentence about the God was a bit confusing. Can you show your religion during an essay? That was first thing came into my mind when
Oh,
reading. Is it okay
well, you
you
can. Mm-hmm.
say your
Mm-hmm.
religion that you pray? How okay is it for the essay writing?
Yeah. So, as far as I'm concerned, you can share like as much as you're comfortable with. So you obviously you don't have to share anything, but if it's comfortable for you to share your religion and talk about religion, it's very welcome. And usually, like what I appreciate about U.S. universities is that it's very diverse. All the different religions are there, and it's very encouraged to talk about it. And like like atheists come and talk to you about it, and religious people come and talk to you about it. So like it's very open, and yeah, like I wouldn't expect uh in foreign country, like how to say, well, this was my first time living in a foreign country for this long, and I wouldn't expect that attitudes towards religion would be this different and at the same time this welcoming. So yeah, it's basically however you're comfortable with and whatever you're comfortable with everywhere in a college application and in the college too.
All right.
Okay, I
Shall we
guess.
to the
Mhm.
concluding part then?
Yeah. So sorry for
Everyone
talking too
wait for the
much and
questions.
huh?
Everyone can wait the questions.
Yeah. So if you guys are comfortable asking the question like I mean out loud, please do. Or not question, I mean like your comment. Why do you think the essay was strong? What made it good? If you're comfortable with commenting out loud, please do. If you're not, then just give us a comment in the chat if you can. And then yeah, we'll discuss it and give you our opinion too. Waiting.
So why do you think the essay was good?
Okay,
I'm the only
let's
one that likes this essay.
I'll start. Yeah. Well, yeah, when I read the essay, well, it's why I think it's good is oh wait, someone wrote I think it was good because it was very personal, connected to the reader on a deep level. Exactly, that's what I wanted to say. It's very personal. That's usually like that's the thing that came to me the most. It's very, very personal, and it shows the character of a person, and it shows determination. Like this person, well, we can see that she didn't have a home, and even though she was very little and couldn't do anything about it, really, she could whatever she could do. Well, when you're like what 10 or 13, you can't really get a house, you don't have enough money, but she contributed the way she could. So like it shows a determination of someone. She had a goal of having a house, and she put effort into making this goal true. And the effort was also like not very how to say like it's not something all 10-year-olds and 13-year-olds do, right? Like it's a very mature thing to do. So like that also talks a lot about your personality. So that's why I think it was a good essay. But other people would have different opinions. Like some would um yeah, I don't know, for some people it would only be because it's personal, or it could only be because like it's very well written also, like it has some emotion, like this emotional lead in, and it like resolves well in the end, and like it's just clearly written. So like writing is obviously very important also, but at least for me, the yeah, being personal and showing the character of a person, and especially like character that talks about determination, right? Yeah, determination, one of the most important qualities for life, I would say, and obviously for college and studying and professional life. So yeah, I think that's why. Um, but we have some other points. Yeah, demonstration of character, uniqueness. Yeah, not this doesn't happen to everyone, obviously. And yeah, I think we went through all the points. So yeah, I would say the most important part still is being genuine, being personal, and somehow showing like the most important traits of your character. That's usually for me what's important. Okay, what are we left with? I think we have the main idea of the application now. So to just sum up, it was academics, so test scores and GPA and teacher recommendations. Um, and extracurriculars, we have the second branch. So anything you do outside school, and the more initiative you take, the better. And third part is the essays, something that shows your character and not only like some work you have done. Yeah. Oh, actually, well, usually like yeah, questions come about Harvard. So I'll just say like very little things about how it is there. Harvard facts, I would say. I don't know if you're interested in the crimson color, why the logo of Harvard has crimson color. It's not a special story really, but just to share, it was in somewhere in 1700s, I think, when like the university's team for rowing, they were competing against other universities, and for them to be visible from far away, the captain of the team gave out this crimson scarves to the group mates. And then they liked the color, as it seems. That guy, the captain, then became the president of the university at some point. But yeah, they really liked the color and they thought, okay, what if we have the logo from it? So it's still crimson and everything there is crimson. The buildings are crimson and everything is crimson. Well, amazing thing Harvard has that really exceeded my expectations was the options you have for extracurricular activities. Because you get there and there are like hundreds of student clubs, hundreds of activities you can participate in. Like I started singing now. I started like singing in the choir, and I've never done that before. So like you could do something that you're very good at already, and it like Harvard gives you amazing chances for that, but you could also start a new thing and it also gives you chances for that. Like it's amazing. Usually like the bigger the college is, obviously the more opportunities there are. And I think Harvard is like the at the top of it with the number of opportunities and everything. Oh yeah, usually like one thing that is not really expected is the dorms we have, because like people would think that oh it's the richest university in the world and like the dorms will be amazing, and no, unfortunately, I wish, but the dorms are like very old, and well they do renovate them every now and then, but it's not good at all. Like I the university in my hometown has much better dorms than than Harvard, just to say bedsides of it too. And yeah, the Harvard tunnels. This sounds mysterious, and it is mysterious because so basically there is this rumor that there are tunnels all over the campus, some secret tunnels that like I don't know were built for I don't know what. Like some people who really are into rumors like to say like I don't know to like stay safe during like if anything happens, or like just to use it for utility purposes. That's what others say. But yeah, so this tunnels actually exist, but we don't use them really. Like everyone talks about them, but no one knows where they are and how to use them. So yeah, this is a secret about Harvard, really. Okay. Actually, maybe we should answer the questions and finish the fun part of the presentation about some light topics about Harvard. Yeah, we could start with the questions, I think.
That was so informative. Thank you so much, Anastasia, for sharing
Of course.
inspiring journey with us today. I just noticed my son has also joined our webinar. I'm
Oh,
so
amazing.
yeah, I'm so happy that he has gained valuable insights. We will discuss, I mean, all the information gained today during our dinner, okay?
Uh-huh.
So thank you for your presentation. And if you have any questions for Anastasia, please feel free to type them in the chat now.
Mhm.
Okay, I see some questions. Let's open the floor for questions. Anastasia, are you ready? Let's start with the academic ones.
Yeah.
What is your favorite class or subject and why?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
So, what was my favorite subject at school or at university?
I think at university, or maybe both.
Okay. Well, my favorite subject was mm, history, I guess. Oh, well, actually, I hated it at the beginning, at school, but then I started loving it because I realized I was interested in politics, and that's like the thing that connects to politics the most. And without knowing history, you don't really understand what's happening in present. So that was my favorite subject. And at university, God, amazing. One course I want to tell you about. So, okay, one thing amazing about Harvard is that it has amazing professors with very, very interesting ideas and very interesting experiences. So I'm actually still thinking of doing diplomacy at some point in my life. And well, I wanted to like see how it is, or at least like have an idea of how it might work. and I found this course, which was about negotiation techniques. And yeah, it was so basically they're teaching you how to negotiate. And also, like the context is Eastern Europe. So Ukraine, Russia conflict, Georgian conflict, and well, also arms control negotiations between US and Russia. So like this is also the topic I'm interested in because yeah, I want to do diplomacy and I want to work in Eastern Europe also. So like I was like, okay, this sounds like a perfect class for me. And the class was amazing, amazing. So theoretical knowledge, amazing, right? But also we had these three simulations. They gave us all these instructions. Like people think it's like similar to Model UN, but it's not because like they give you the instruction and they're telling you, okay, you're representing, let's say, I don't know, Russia now. Yeah, they made me represent Russia also. And in thank God they didn't give me it in Russia Georgia conflict. Thank God it was in Ukraine conflict. It was still hard, but yeah. And yeah, they gave me the instruction and it says, okay, this is your biography. You were born in this year. You studied at this university. You did this. Then you worked there, and you're a diplomat for this now, and all like they give you the whole human basically, and you have to act as that human. They give you the interest you have, obviously, the interest your country has, but also the interest you personally have. Like, for example, if you want to please your boss because you want to get promoted, they're like telling you, okay, your boss has this interest. If you do this, this will put you like forward. And like, so basically, it was a very realistic glimpse into how things work in real life because it's never that, like, even famous diplomats, they not all the time act only from the country's interests. Everything has the personal stake in it, right? So like that was amazing for me because they like I don't know, like basically they give you theoretical knowledge in university, but they also give you like I don't know life lessons basically and how what you should be prepared for in real life when you go outside your comfort zone. So yeah, that was my favorite subject, and I talked too much, and I had to answer other questions. So,
One more question. What is the
yeah.
timeline of sending the application?
Yeah, so sending the applications for US is your well, you have to I think you have to start your exams in the summer of like when you finish 11th grade. You have to like write exams and everything so that you have scores for the beginning of the 12th grade, so the last year of your school. In the beginning, you have to like be nearly ready, and over the summer, you have to basically fill out all the applications because if you want to apply early and have more chances into getting some particular university, then you're sending applications in like November, beginning of December, but usually November. And for normal cycle, it's January or like the so mid-January to actually some of them are in the beginning of January. So basically in winter. So yeah, to have applications ready by that time, you have to like actually start working on the application itself in summer of after 11th grade. And then you hear back in April. Oh, depends. If you send early application in November, then you hear in winter. But if you send application in winter, then you hear back in April. So yeah, then you have 1 month to decide where you go and if you want to go to that college that accepted you. Hopefully that's yeah, that's comprehensive.
Okay, we have one more question about academia
Yeah.
and education. Before we move to the social part, there are questions about social life in Harvard.
Okay.
Question is, can sport achievements help in admission to Harvard?
Oh, very much so.
What,
Especially
what do they
especially if
like?
sorry?
What do they like? I mean, any particular
Yeah.
sport?
Yeah. So any type of sport is good because there's ridiculous amount of like sports they do at Harvard. They have team for everything basically. So if they find someone very good, they really want to get them in. And like I've seen a lot of situations where people have gotten only because of sports. That doesn't mean your academics are not important because they still have to look at your academics because well, you have to study there. So like they have to make sure that you don't like pull other people back when you're sitting in a class, obviously. But like sports, I've seen people where sports have played immense amount. Like if they're very good though, like there are a lot of athletes applying. So if you're very good, like if you're a champion of something, I don't know, or like very successful in your country, like country known or world known, then you're very, very good to go to elite colleges. They love that. So any type of sport doesn't matter. Well, usually the more unknown it is, the better chances you have to be amazing at it and like best countrywide or worldwide or whatever. So yeah, just yeah, do sports very much so, and try to participate in many competitions though, because like just I don't know, just telling them, oh, I'm good, obviously is not enough. You have to prove it, and the way to prove it is the contests and competitions. So yeah, very important.
Okay, moving on to the most important part.
Yeah.
How do students typically meet new people and make friends at Harvard? I'm really shy. Maybe there are some clubs to socialize.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So, well, I also had
How
that
often do you
problem.
socialize?
Yeah, yeah. So when it comes to being shy, I also had that problem. Well, I didn't have the didn't have that problem in Georgia, but then when I went to this new country and I didn't know anyone and I hardly well, compared to others, hardly spoke the language, even though I thought I knew English very well. Then when you get and compare yourself to Americans, that usually you fall behind a bit. And the language barrier usually well, very much interrupts you and crushes your confidence. But well, so yeah, I was also like that, and there are plenty of opportunities really. Well, there are first of all like activities, doing activities in student clubs is the way to do it, I think, because like when you're actually doing something together, like if you're organizing something together, or if you're like singing together, or like I don't know, any activity that's outside class, it usually very much like pulls you together and pulls you close to each other. So that's the way to do it. In classes, you can find someone to study with. That's another way to do it. You can go to some events, like for example, if let's say me, I'm interested about politics in Eastern Europe, and there are like events, hundreds of them all the time. So I go to some like I don't know lecture or some talk with from some famous government official, and well, obviously people there will also share my interest because they came to the talk. I can talk to someone there and meet them there. Also, there are clubs only for socialization. So like this final clubs, for example, or like I don't know, just like I don't know how they're called actually, I forgot. But like clubs that just give you friends, basically. And usually it's not my way to do it, but I've seen people who met very, very good people through this opportunity because like when you get to college, everyone is alone. Everyone has the same like bad situation where like they have no friends and they have to find someone, right? So there are a lot of opportunities where you actually socialize and meet new people. And in dining halls when you eat. You can just go up to anyone and sit with them and have lunch together and meet them. So it's very easy.
We have a question from David,
Uh-huh.
returning to the essay one.
Right.
Hello, I have a question about the essay we just discussed. We all know that everybody's special in their own way, but not everybody has a
Right.
unique life experience as the writer had. You also mentioned that the unique story gives you a kind of advantage. What can a person with less tough life experiences make
Mm-hmm.
their look unique and special? Any
Yeah, yeah,
hints?
yeah. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Right. Well, I was exactly in that situation. I didn't I had very smooth childhood. I'll be honest, it was amazing. And I didn't have something like that to write about. And you don't have to really, because it's just like you have to come up with some story that shows your personality. For example, like there are so many like resources to help you do that. For example, you have your own room maybe, or like wherever you study or wherever you sleep. Like look around the room and you'll see like a bunch of things you have in the room, right? Like for example, how I started writing my essay was that I looked at my table and I had like three pictures. You know like how you put a glass on your wooden table for it not to get scratched, and under that glass you have a bunch of things. Well, at this how that's how I had it. And I had three pictures under my vase, so on my table. And these pictures were one of my family, then one was of my music teacher, and the last one was of Margaret Thatcher, which I now regret. But then I was very well, I don't regret. Not like so she used to be my idol, not in political sense, but in like personal sense, because like she started from nowhere and she was the first female prime minister of England, which was sorry, Great Britain. It was unimaginable at a time, even for her. So yeah, I was very inspired by her story. So yeah, I just looked at my like room and whatever caught my eye was this, and I was like, okay, why do I have these pictures here? What connects these three? Or like why especially these three pictures and nothing else, for example? Why there are, I don't know, no pictures of, I don't know, me playing piano or whatever. And yeah, I thought about myself, I found the reasons why they were special, and then I decided to write something about that. All right, or like at least start my essay with that. Other things you could do, if you did any extracurricular activities, also people do that. For example, if you did other, like, I don't know, any interesting activity that you thought was very important to you could write about that and explain why that was important to you. I don't know, you could like think of your childhood, for example, or your, I don't know, when you're a teenager, I don't know, whatever, any moment in your life when you think something important happened, or just I don't know, just a normal scene maybe that shows just how you are. Like it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be a refugee, or you don't have to be like have you don't have to yeah, like uh you don't have to have amazing some very very difficult and unique experiences for it to be personal. It can be very personal by just being very normal. Usually that's how you show yourself the most, like just from little things. So it's very possible.
I just remembered the case with a student from
Yeah.
Edulead. She got accepted to Harvard, and her essay was about she was given a name. She was from a little village in Kazakhstan, and she was given a very strange name.
Hmm.
And in her life, she was not satisfied with her name, and her essay was just about that. I'm
Yeah.
very satisfied with my name. Actually, not another hints would be, using your mistakes in life could also be,
Yeah.
your advantage.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
your
so
mistakes or your
any
successes, anything.
experience, any experiences, any mistakes, any inspiration, aspirations, everything can be used. You don't have to be a refugee.
Yeah.
Okay, we're running out of time, and I would like to big thanks to Anastasia for
Oh,
every.
thank you.
I really enjoyed this webinar today. It was very intense and very, energetic.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Now, I guess everyone is hungry for the dinner, and but, we hope that you found this webinar valuable and provided you with insights and motivation for your own educational goals. So let's keep in touch and let's continue our
Mhm.
webinars. Thank you once
Thank
again.
you. Thank you very much for inviting me again. And well, I know we talked a lot and it's very hard to absorb all this information in like, I don't know, 45 minutes or however much we were here. But like, there's so much more to talk about. This is like, I wish we had more time, but there's, I don't know, a lot of work to do basically, and a lot of things to know, and it's impossible to talk about everything now. But can I very very shortly respond to one question, because this is very important. I saw a question in chat here about financial aid. So usually the better the university, I mean the more famous it is, more money it has usually. And there are a lot of scholarship opportunities in US, or else I wouldn't be able. I also have financial aid, very very large, and I wouldn't be able to study in US without financial aid. And so there are two types. It's merit based and need based. Merit based gives you a scholarship for something amazing you did, some like, I don't know, you studied well or whatever. And more common way is need based, so they give you however much you need, but it's very hard for international students to get that. It's usually like only in elite colleges that they give you need-based financial aid for international students. Like I wanted to apply to a lot of colleges that, like, I don't know, would be more realistic to get into, but I couldn't because they were not offering financial aid for international students. But Harvard gives you full need, like gives you need-based aid Like, and it's not even like, it's not aid or sorry, it's not loan or something. Like, it's a grant. They give you the money for good. You don't have to pay it back just because they want you there. But this also means that if you need financial aid, you also have to be better than others, because it should be worth it for them, for the university to put this huge of an investment in you. Like, it's $86,000 a year, imagine, and I'm there for 4 years. So like, that's a huge investment to put in a person. So it should be worth it for them. And that's why it's harder, because you have to be better than others, but it's not impossible at all, especially in great universities. It's very, very possible. In normal ones, it's also fairly possible, yeah. So don't worry.
If you have
Yeah.
any further questions about financial aid, we have a financial aid mentor at Edulead, who is a brilliant with the US, all US scholarships. And
It's very hard to
okay,
navigate those processes usually.
we are exactly 1 hour, and
Oh, sorry, we're
I
over
have
time.
to end the webinar. And thank you all for joining, especially Sunday evening, just before the school starts tomorrow. Thank you so much, Anastasia, and I hope we'll see you again.
Thank you for this opportunity. Bye, and good luck to everyone.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Mhm.